A long time ago, in a country far, far away. We begin by interrupting some wedding plans. Theseus, the Duke of Athens, is talking with his bride-to-be, Hippolyta, when a nobleman named Aegeus storms in, complaining about his daughter, Hermia. Trust me, you get used to the freaky Shakespearean names.
Full of vexation come I.
Aegeus has chosen a husband for Hermia.
Stand forth, Demetrius.
But she wants to marry Lysander instead.
Stand forth, Lysander.
Aegeus has come to Theseus because, as Duke, Theseus has to enforce Athenian law. Aegeus demands that, if Hermia should disobey him, she be put to death, a rather harsh punishment, don't you think? Theseus, however, is rather gentle, but knows that Aegeus is right about the law that says daughters are to marry the men their fathers choose for them. So, reluctantly, he tells Hermia that if she doesn't marry Demetrius, she will either be killed or be forced to live the rest of her life as a nun. Personally, I think she should choose death. He gives her until his own wedding day to choose. Lysander stands up to Theseus and Aegeus, saying that he has every right to marry Hermia if he wants to, because she loves him. He also points out that Demetrius already had a girlfriend, Helena, and he broke her heart. Theseus agrees that this is an important detail, but sticks with his decision.
Look, you fit your fancies to your father's will, or else the law of Athens yields you up to death or a vow of single life.
Then everyone leaves. But Hermia and Lysander stay behind. Hermia starts to cry. As she weeps, Lysander comments,
"The course of true love never did run smooth."
"What a great quote." But then he gets an idea. They can run away together. He comes up with a plan and tells Hermia to meet him the next night in the forest outside Athens. From there, they can go to his rich aunt's house where they are no longer governed by the unforgiving Athenian law.
"There, gentle Hermia, may I marry thee?"
Hermia agrees enthusiastically, and it's a plan. Just then, Helena, Hermia's friend and Demetrius' former girlfriend, arrives. She begs Hermia to tell her how she won Demetrius' heart so easily while Helena got dumped.
Teach me how you look, and with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius' heart.
But Hermia says that she doesn't get it either.
"I frown upon him, yet he loves me still."
Lysander and Hermia tell Helena about their plan to run off together into the woods, then leave her alone. But Helena decides to betray Hermia, traitor, and tells Demetrius about the plan, hoping that she can win him back.
Here I mean, I to have his sight back again.
Meanwhile, a group of workers have gathered to rehearse a play which will be performed at Theseus and Hippolyta's wedding, called
The most lamentable comedy and most cruel death of Pyramus and Thisbe.
Goodness, more weird names. My head hurts. The horrible actors get absolutely everything wrong. Peter Quince, the carpenter, is the director of the show, but Nick Bottom, the weaver, wants to steal the spotlight. The players get their parts and agree to meet in the woods to practice.
At the Duke's oak we meet. I pray you fail me not.
"We will meet, and there we will rehearse most courageously."
Meanwhile, in the forest, Oberon, king of the fairies, is fighting with his wife, Titania. They're fighting because Titania has adopted a little Indian boy, and Oberon wants him for an attendant. Titania refuses to give him up.
"The fairyland buys not the child of me."
In a rage, Titania leaves. Oberon then summons Puck, his chief lieutenant, and orders him to go out and get a magic flower, which has the power to make someone fall in love with the first living creature they see when they awaken from sleep.
Having once this juice, I'll watch Titania when she is asleep and drop it in her eyes. The next thing she sees, be it a lion, bear, or dizzy ape, she shall pursue it with the soul of love.
Puck goes out, eager to please his boss. After this, Oberon makes himself invisible. An awesome power, can I just say, as Helena and Demetrius pass by. He watches as Helena follows Demetrius, who keeps telling her to leave.
"I love thee not, therefore pursue me not."
I am sick when I look not on thee.
When they're gone, Puck returns with the flower. Oberon will take part of the flower to charm Titania, but, feeling sorry for Helena, tries to help her win Demetrius' love. He tells Puck to drop the flower's juice into the eyes of an Athenian youth. Puck promises to do this, but is confused. Oberon hasn't told him which Athenian is Lysander and which is Demetrius, or which is Helena and which is Hermia. Hey, it's hard for us to keep them straight. Titania, who is with her fairies, she orders them to sing her to sleep, and they do so.
Feel a melody, la 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 la.
As she is sleeping, Oberon sneaks in and carefully applies the flower's juice to his wife's closed eyes. When he leaves, Lysander and Hermia appear. Exhausted, they fall asleep on the forest floor.
Good night, sweet friend.
Sleep give thee all his rest.
Where Puck finds them. Thinking Oberon was talking about Lysander when he spoke of the Athenian youth, he applies the juice to Lysander's eyes and exits, not realizing his mistake. Just then, Demetrius arrives with Helena. He leaves her behind, and she goes over to the sleeping Lysander and wakes him up.
Lysander? If you live, good sir, awake.
When he sees her, thanks to the flower's juice, he immediately falls in love with her.
And run through fire I will for thy sweet sake.
He tells her of his love, but she doesn't believe him. She thinks he's making fun of her and leaves. Lysander pursues her, saying that he is sick of Hermia and hates her. Just as he is leaving, Hermia awakes, troubled by a nasty dream she's just had. She calls out to Lysander to comfort her, but finds that he is gone.
Lysander? Gone? Where are you? Speak of all loves. No? Then I will perceive that you are not nigh.
She heads off into the forest to find him. Near the place where the invisible Titania is sleeping, the wretched actors are, once again, practicing their play. And once again, Bottom is trying to run the show. He says that when Pyramus stabs himself, the audience could be quite frightened, so they should say at the beginning of the performance that the suicide isn't real. Then, thinking about the lion in the play as well, he proposes that they mention that the lion is nothing but an actor. As they are discussing this, Puck arrives, invisible to them. Seeing how silly the actors are, and especially Bottom, Puck decides to play a trick on them. When Bottom steps aside to wait for his cue, Puck transforms him, turning his head into the head of a donkey. When the others see this, they run away screaming.
Hey, monstrous! Fly masters, help!
Bottom, not understanding, thinks they're trying to scare him. Alone now, Bottom begins to sing. This awakens the nearby Titania, who is still under the magic spell.
I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. On the first view, I love thee.
Methinks, mistress, you should have little reason for that.
Thou art as wise as thou art beautiful.
She summons her fairies and orders them to get Bottom whatever he wants and makes him comfortable. Bottom thinks nothing is out of the ordinary and accepts the assistant fairy's help. And then we take a much-needed break to sort the whole thing out.